he wrote so many letters and covered so much ground in these letters that it was a really fruitful place to kind of look and start to see where I should go. But it also was not. Some of the things that he sent us were kind of, they ran the gamut from heartfelt and touching to a list of airports, 130 that he's traveled through. Surgeries he's had. And Roger Maris. But I just tried to see what you want me to come here and say, and I think the very first thing you want me to say is just to acknowledge my mother as his partner. She's been with him through this whole thing in a way that no one can imagine. His fight with cancer was always their fight with cancer. The strength and grace that she's shown over the last 2.5 years is nothing short of remarkable, and it's the best example one could ask for with the vow in sickness and in health. Now that I've made her cry, the other thing that he would want is to talk about baseball. Our family did a lot of stuff together as a whole family unit. But whenever you got time apart with one of the parents, it was a special little time that you kind of cherished a little more. And that, with Dad, those one-on-one times were either a late night trip to the emergency room or a baseball game. So we go to these games and we sit on the first base side of the Royal Stadium, and I would focus on the stuff that a 6-year-old focuses on. I'd always watch the catcher because he got to wear the cool equipment. I'd focus on my little Sunday in the collectible cup. And he would talk to me about baseball. And he'd teach me to watch the outfielders when the fly ball comes off the bat, because when you're 6 and the fly ball comes off the bat, it looks like a home run every time. And if you follow the Royals, they're not. He teach me the infield fly rule, and he taught me just all any talk about the Yankees. Nonsense. When he talks to people about baseball, he kind of says, I tried to make him Yankees fan, and he says it with a smile on his face. He really, truly tried. I think the closest he came, Tom named his cherished childhood stuffed bear after Roger Maris. And I think Dad thought he had one. Gradually, as Tom got more and more stuffed animals, he started naming them after Royals. And I think it was really just a good ploy to get more stuffed animals. So when we go to these games on the ride home, we drive through downtown Kansas City, and the Power and Light building in Kansas City had a beacon on top of it that would change colors. And one of my vivid memories is riding in the car with Dad, watching that beacon change colors, trying to stay awake because I loved the time we had together so much, and I wanted just a little bit more of it. One of the things that happens when you fight cancer is that it kind of takes your identity. Almost immediately, all of the phone calls were about doctor's visits, and they were about platelet counts, and they were about all of the stuff that happens with that fight. When the 2015 baseball season started, we all started kind of texting about baseball. And we watch a game, and maybe 2 or 3 of us were watching, and we text back and forth. And then the playoffs came, and more we were watching together and texting together. And that identity kind of fell back to us being the kids watching a ball game with our dad. And so that identity is stronger than the cancer that took him. He will always to me be the loving father that I sat on the first base side and watched baseball games. And in a lot of ways, I'll always be that child who watched the beacon change colors. So grateful for the time that I spent with him, but wishing I could have